Salutations, greetings, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'll be heading to Toronto Pearson International Airport, where I will be flying on WestJet's 787 Dreamliner in business class. This has to be my most exciting video yet on this channel, mainly because I've never actually flown on WestJet before. You would think that as a Canadian based in Toronto, I would have flown on Canada's second largest airline, WestJet, but I guess my travels so far have taken me only on Air Canada's planes. I'm really excited about how this plane looks. It's gotten really good reviews, including like its hard product, which looks absolutely gorgeous. So let's head on to the airport and see how it goes. In contrast to Air Canada's operations at Terminal 1, WestJet flies out of Terminal 3 here at Toronto Pearson International Airport, where today I am flying to Calgary. Having a business or premium class ticket, as well as status, allows access to priority check-in services, with dedicated kiosks as well as a few check-in desks tucked away in the corner. I made my way to the desk because I do like keeping physical boarding passes for these kinds of flights. The ones the kiosks typically print out are on flimsy paper, so I wanted the nicer ones. I didn't expect the airport to be this busy, to be honest, but it is reassuring to see travel picking up again. Now, my ticket allows access to priority security as well, but for some really strange reason, I still don't know why, but it didn't work. I didn't want to go all the way back to the check-in desk to see what was the problem with my boarding pass, but luckily the regular lane wasn't too busy anyways. Now, today's flight is on the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, WestJet's newest and largest aircraft in their fleet, replacing their aging Boeing 767-300s. Since 2019, the airline has flown this state-of-the-art plane both domestically, between Vancouver, Toronto, and their home base Calgary, and internationally to larger European cities, including London, Paris, and Amsterdam. I want to quickly touch on how WestJet markets their cabins. Economy class, of course, is the most self-explanatory, but I did get confused a bit about business and premium. These are actually different depending on which aircraft you're on. Basically, for WestJet, their only business class product is on its 3-cabin plane, the 787 Dreamliner, which I'm riding today. Premium class in this case is akin to premium economy you'd see on other airlines. Any of WestJet's planes with 2 cabins, like their 737 line, have premium class up front and economy at the back, so these don't have business class. I haven't actually had a need to fly on WestJet, so my maiden voyage with this airline would be on their signature Dreamliner 787 in business class. Hopefully I'll be impressed. I mean, I guess it can't get any worse from here, right? Also, here at Toronto Pearson Terminal 3, WestJet doesn't have their own lounge, unlike Air Canada and their Maple Leaf Lounge. So on a business class ticket, you'd have a discount on like Plaza Premium, but it still wouldn't be worth it in my opinion. And it's not a complimentary visit. So, tune in later in the video, because I'll be arriving in Calgary and I'll check out the WestJet Elevation Lounge, which I've heard really good things about.
Thank you.
Hi.
Could you just lower your mask there for me? Great, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Priority one, and it gets there.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get shots of the exterior of the plane because they're just too far from the gate, but it's okay. Okay, time for the main event.
Hello, welcome aboard. Mask you're sitting.
4A.
Excellent, welcome to business right here for you.
Thank you very much. One thing to note though, and I sincerely apologize, is that my footage in this part of the video is a bit unsteady. I'll try to fix it as much as I can. The business class cabin has 4 rows of seats, with 16 total. These are arranged in the reverse herringbone orientation. That is, all seats have direct aisle access, while facing away from the aisle as well. I was surprised at how small the cabin was. As a point of comparison, Air Canada's business cabin on their Dreamliner has almost double the amount of seats, 16 compared to 30. I think I prefer the smaller cabin. It gives off a cozier yet more private atmosphere. 4A was my seat of choice, at the back of the cabin. Speaking of atmosphere, I absolutely adore the hues of blue and purple lighting all around the cabin. It's a great way to sophisticate the airline's color palette, in my opinion. It's worthy to note that if you're seated in the middle, the divider in between can actually be lowered, making these seats optimal for those traveling in pairs. The cabin behind is premium class, which we passed on the way in. It does look clean and stylish as well. The business seat looks awesome, of course. It lies flat and is essentially your own cocoon or pod of personal space. A pre-flight beverage was offered shortly.
Good evening, sir. Welcome on board. Can I offer you some champagne and orange juice?
I'll take the orange.
Sure.
And now time for the seat tour. The in-flight entertainment monitor is a large 18.5-inch touchscreen with a USB port and headphone jack, and comes with a nice personalized touch. A few signage to the right, and a retractable tray table that folds out to a spacious size. In the seated position, I have a lot of room to stretch, being 5'6". The footrest is cushioned and an ample size. Over to the left is a small storage space and the life vest. This armrest pops up and down. I do like how they used brown leather for the finish. It makes for a good color complement. Inside is a water bottle and over-ear headphones, which we'll get to try later. I kinda wish this partition wall extended further for more privacy, but it does its job. A 3-point seatbelt is used for this seat. The cushioning is emblazoned with the arrow motif seen in WestJet's logo, and is comfy. The headrest is a faux leather finish and decently firm. A pillow was given out to passengers, but no blanket for this 3-hour flight. On the other side is a reading light toggle. This small panel can be lifted for some storage space and a mirror. Here is the literature cubby, and these two windows can be dimmed with many different levels of opacity. This is seen throughout economy and premium class as well on the 787 Dreamliner. This larger panel contains a 120-volt power supply, another USB port and headphone jack, and the remote to control the IFE monitor, which, to be honest, I never use. I don't think is very useful in my opinion. Don't forget storage. Over here are controls for seat options and lighting, which we'll get to mid-flight. Up above are 2 lights, but interestingly, no individual air nozzles. Dinner orders were taken just before takeoff as well. There were no physical menus. They offered a choice between Parmesan chicken breast and mushroom ravioli pasta. Quite the interesting safety video. silent hum of the Dreamliner's engines. One can't get enough of it. The flight was delayed like 40 minutes. I'm starving. Shortly after takeoff, a snack was served. These roasted coconut cashews were actually very delicious. With the table set, it was time for dinner service. Okay, the moment most of you are waiting for. I know a lot of you click on these videos to see how the meal service is, especially on these, I guess, business flights. So I'm about to show you what the meal looks like. Ha ha ha, you got baited. Jokes aside, tonight we have a Parmesan cheese crusted chicken breast with roasted potatoes, tomato caper sauce, broccoli, and zucchini. It's served with a bread roll and butter, and cheese and crackers. For the side, we have a mesclun salad with scorched goat's cheese, beetroot, and balsamic pearls. For dessert is a chocolate cake with raspberry coulis. Okay, I'm not a very picky eater, but I wasn't a fan of the salad at all. It tasted a bit bland, and the beetroot just isn't my thing. I am a cheese lover though, and the goat cheese was alright. Perhaps the combination of salad was too advanced for my palate. While there is nothing really wrong with the chicken breast, I scarfed it down in my hunger, it just wasn't too exciting. As a whole, it was very average. And maybe it was the textures, but it felt like it was one of those meals that just came out of the microwave. The bread at least wasn't rock solid. The raspberry chocolate cake was good enough to feel satisfied, and was probably the best thing in the meal. Overall, I wasn't really impressed, and this is something that WestJet can definitely improve on. Now let's take a look at the various seat functions. It's controllable here on the left, and you get a picture of the seat itself with some diagrams on whether you want to recline or lie flat. To the right is a power icon for this screen, a lamp icon that controls the light on the literature pocket, and another icon for the overhead lighting. These arrows can be touched to adjust lumbar strength, and to fine-tune the position of the footwell and headrest. To activate the lie flat, the icon has to be held down. It is a bit dim here, but the seat slowly starts converting to bed mode. For me, I am again 5 foot 6 inches, and with my head near the top of the seat, my feet are nowhere near the end. I have to try and extend further for me to feel constrained. Width-wise, it's perfectly fine. So yeah, that's the lie flat seat. It's comfortable and can definitely provide a good sleep for a long flight. The business cabin has one lavatory located at the front near the cockpit. Let's take a quick look. There's a little section for a concave mirror on the right. On the door are 2 coat hangers. On the ceiling are some LED lighting. Over here are some hand soap and hand sanitizer dispensers, but no lotion. The average toilet and baby changing table, while on this side, WestJet used a blue gradient wallpaper for the decoration. Pretty average size, pretty average wiring. seat lighting and window shade can also be controlled through the monitor in front. A few moments later, a snack box was given out and had some salted cashews, a chocolate chip granola bar, a Mentos, a piece of chocolate truffle, a biscuit, and a delicious wet wipe. It's a good assortment, but the granola bar wasn't that great. The headphones didn't show any branding on them, other than a WestJet logo. They weren't noise cancelling and were of cheap quality. One thing I've noticed so far is the lack of a sanitizing kit. No masks, hand sanitizer, or wipes were given out during boarding. I think this is a bit of an oversight, and this is definitely something that they should offer, especially during these times. So what was so special about business class on WestJet 787 Dreamliner? For me, it was their hard product. They nailed it with their choice of lie-flat seat. It was comfortable, decently private, and wasn't lacking in features. The movable partition between the middle seats is important, and should be a staple on these planes. Top that off with a small, more intimate cabin, fantastic ambience, and silent engines. It's a great way to relax on an evening flight. Although the lack of individual air nozzles might bother some, I didn't mind. That's not to come without the mishaps I encountered during this flight though. While I'm not entirely sure if it was a WestJet issue, my boarding pass failing the priority security check-in was unfortunate, as well as the 45-minute takeoff delay. Maybe it was this particular meal, but I was underwhelmed by dinner service, something I typically look forward to. It would also be nice if physical menus were given out. I think this makes the dining experience more authentic. As well, their espresso machine was out of order. That's a problem for me. All in all, I still had a good experience, and it's important for WestJet to fly this particular aircraft. This is the first of all of their planes to offer a fully lie-flat seat, each with direct aisle access. And it's monumental, because Canadians can finally avail of a product that directly competes with Air Canada's signature class, which surely spices things up. Wow. The WestJet Elevation Lounge closes at 9:30 p.m. And because of the delay that I got out of Pearson, I got there at exactly 9:30 p.m. Fortunately though, I am back here in Calgary Airport in a few days. So hopefully I can review that WestJet Elevation Lounge then. I made my way to Concourse B of Calgary Airport's domestic terminal, where I was able to get in the lounge with Priority Pass, and after showing proof of vaccination and ID. Opening in late 2020, this is WestJet's flagship business lounge, and currently the only of its kind. Though they have plans for future elevation lounges in Toronto and Vancouver. With a maximum capacity of over 400 people during normal times, it has a fair amount of seating areas. It's very elegantly designed, and I love the thorough use of wood paneling and added holiday cheer. There's a bar area for drinks. In terms of color palette, WestJet went with grays, whites, and of course browns to go for a classy feel. Some different rooms I noticed include meeting spaces, call booths, and kids and family areas. In terms of food, this lounge currently works like a restaurant. You choose a table to sit at, access the menu through a QR code, and place your order from that link. For lunchtime, there were many options. Appetizers included broccoli cheddar soup, chicken gumbo, spring rolls, while their big plates for that day were barbecue beef brisket and mac and cheese, among other foods. There were cookies and cakes, as well as select alcoholic beverages. Of course, you can order as much as you want. And the food was quite good. I've got no complaints at all, and it was satisfying. And that's a wrap for the Elevation Lounge. WestJet's 787 Dreamliner has always been on my bucket list per se ever since they revealed the airplane, and it was a great experience. To top it off, this lounge is quite the lounge. I mean, so far it's one of the only places I've seen with ice cream. So that's definitely a plus. But yeah, if you like the content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe as usual. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.